Welcome, everybody. We're excited for you to join us today for our first UltraClear webinar with Rivé Plastic Surgery. We'll get started in just a minute, but first, I'll let you know that not only do we have a great presentation prepared, we also have some time for a Q&A with Dr. Eva Dentcheva. So if you have any questions during the presentation, feel free to put them in the Q&A box and we'll address those at the end of the presentation. And if you have any questions or technical difficulties, you can use the chat feature and I'll be here to support you.
Thank
All
you so much, Rob. Good evening, everyone. My name is Dr. Eva Dentcheva. I'm a double board certified plastic surgeon here at Rivé Plastic Surgery. And I'm thrilled to be joined this evening by my partner, Dr. Richard Terrell, and our practice manager, Michelle Mays.
Hi,
So
everybody.
Hi, Michelle. We are so excited to share this UltraClear laser technology. We're the first practice in Reno to bring this to our community, and we're very, very thrilled to be able to offer this for every patient and to address multiple issues. So let's get started with a brief video of what exactly this is.
The first. The first of its kind, cold ablative fiber laser solution. The first device to give new life to all skin types. Finally, a way to treat every single patient. UltraClear, the first safe solution for sensitive skin, especially skin of color. Optimized to individual needs. Balancing cold and thermal energy at the optimal wavelength. Ablative resurfacing and 3D collagen remodeling in one pass, delivering each pulse to the exact depth with precise timing, minimizing risk and pain, allowing faster healing with optimal results, keeping patients safe from discomfort and side effects, something they can count on every time, no matter what. Letting them get back to their day quickly, and making sure they feel amazing when they leave.
So as you can see, the UltraClear is a laser that combines multiple modalities in one. So what is it ideal for? Well, if you have uneven texture and tone to your skin, if there's any concerns about fine lines and wrinkles, it's excellent for not just acne scarring, but also surgical scarring. We can also address pigmentation concerns, sun damage, age spots, and really focus on a customized program and regimen for skin rejuvenation with multiple skin types as well as at multiple ages. So why do patients choose UltraClear over some of the more traditional lasers that we often hear about, like CO2 or erbium? Well, it's several key points. For me as a surgeon, as well as a patient myself, comfort is key here. And the UltraClear is the world's first cool pulse technology that really pulses both the thermal heat as well as a cool ablation mode so that you have significantly less downtime and less pain. Plus, it's safe on multiple skin types. You have an all-in-one solution, so we can address multiple concerns in one session rather than multiple sessions to try to address different things with different lasers. It's much quicker, it's much faster, and especially for those of us that are constantly on the run and having to squeeze in our skincare wherever we can, this can be as short as 15 to 20 minutes. And it's also versatile. So we can treat not just the traditional face and neck that we often think about, but also the areas that we often forget, like your hands, as well as other areas of the body. So let's talk about skin types and why is this important in laser technology? Well, the majority of laser technology was really made for certain skin types in the type 1 and 2 range because of the significant heat injury that it delivered. So it simply wasn't safe to use on those of us who may have a different skin type. Some of us, like myself, for example, are Mediterranean and olive skinned, so we can hyperpigment. And some of us have a type 5 and 6 skin that's rich in melanin that can also be damaged by some of the more older traditional technology, but not the UltraClear. Here we can see why UltraClear offers us certain modalities. So if we're concerned about some of our superficial texturing and pigmentation, we can go with the 3D Miracle. If we're more concerned about deeper lines and wrinkles, we can talk about the UltraClear. And lastly, the most innovative laser coring is also available for those really, really deep lines and rhytids. So let's talk about some of these modes and what do they look like in terms of recovery and areas of concern. Our most superficial setting is going to be our 3D Miracle. So this is for all age groups as well as all skin types. It has a minimal downtime and it has a very rapid recovery. I like to say this is my lunchtime laser. It can be done in 15 to 20 minutes. You can attend events as short as 2 to 3 days later. It's very minimal in terms of how much pain there is, and it can address texture, sun damage, and give you that really nice glow. For some of our deeper concerns, where we're worried about fine lines, wrinkles, acne scarring, or even surgical scarring, we're going to look at our moderate level lasers like the UltraClear, which usually take 3 to 5 days of downtime, and they do take a little longer to recover, but we can address quite a bit. And lastly, our most advanced lasers, which will really touch on those deep set wrinkles. Those are going to be your laser coring and UltraClear customized modalities. Those usually have a longer recovery of 5 to 10 days, which is still quite a bit shorter than some of the traditional lasers, which took even as long as 4 to 6 weeks. Now, when we think about laser technology, what makes the UltraClear so innovative is how it's been invented and discovered. Our CO2 and erbium lasers were discovered in the 90s, and since then, they really haven't changed or advanced much. Mid-range fiber laser technology was invented in 2007 and received its FDA approval in 2021 for fine lines, wrinkles, age spots, skin resurfacing, and most recently, benign pigmented lesions. So the technology has been around for a number of years. It's quite safe, and we've been able to use it on multiple skin types in contrast to more of the traditional features. So when we talk about the customizable nature of the UltraClear, what makes it unique and more innovative is that you have a combination of the heat pulse technology followed by a rapid pulse that allows the skin to recover from that thermal damage. As it heals, you have a significant rejuvenation effect, but you don't have that massive heat damage that allows for that longer downtime. So this is a much faster recovery and it's a less painful recovery. Here we can see someone getting a UltraClear laser in real time. As you can see, we consult with every patient and develop a customized individual plan to address your needs. We protect the eyes carefully, and this is done in the office with topical numbing medication. It's quite comfortable. We can see here the laser marks that go on the skin surface, and this can usually be done depending on the treatment in as little as 15 to 20 minutes. If it's something more advanced, it could be up to an hour. So let's discuss our most superficial option, the 3D Miracle.
Introducing 3D Miracle, a 10-minute laser treatment that jumpstarts your skin's own natural renewal process. No discomfort, no downtime, dramatic results. It's safe for all skin tones. Visit 3dmiracle.com to learn more.
So looking at our 3D miracle, we can start with our first patient. This lovely patient had some concerns regarding these areas of pigmentation, but they also wanted to have minimal downtime and really get back to their schedule quickly. So they underwent a single session of 3D miracle, and we can see how significantly this area has improved. There's a much better texture to her skin overall, and there's no significant redness. In this patient who's in her 20s, similar concerns. They wanted to address these areas of hyperpigmentation after acne, but they also wanted to address the texture and the porosity of the skin with minimal downtime. So again, this is just after one session of 3D Miracle. Really significant improvement in that pigmentation, but really just look at that glow. Her texture is significantly improved. This patient similarly had concerns regarding these areas where she had some pigmentation and freckling, but also after a long summer in the sun, she wanted to just rejuvenate her skin for the holiday season. And we can see that in the laser glow as well as the improvement in the freckling. In this patient who's more of a type 4 skin type, we can see again improvement in the texture overall as well as the pigmentation. And of course, this is my favorite. So we call this tech neck. I like to call it my OR neck. As somebody who's spent the past 15 years looking down to operate, I have a similar problem. My neck has a lot of lines, and especially when I'm out in the summer, I can have a lot of this pigmentation. So this is 5 weeks after a single treatment with 3D Miracle. We can see improvement in these lines as well as significant improvement in that pigmentation. So let's move on to our more moderate options. So with these, we're going to look at deeper acne scarring, a lot of pigmentation we can see here as well as here, and overall some of the fine lines around the mouth and the nasolabial folds. So this is 5 days after a single treatment with our clear mode. We can see these lines around the mouth already improving. Overall here in the nasolabial folds, these little spots significantly improved. And overall, the texture of the skin is so much better. And again, this is just 5 days after one treatment. Now, in this lovely young woman, her concerns were both the acne scarring as well as the texture of the skin. This is a type 6 Fitzpatrick. And you can see this is after her 3rd treatment with the 3D Miracle. We've customized it to add several treatments to address these areas. We have significant improvement and rejuvenation in the forehead as well as cheeks. Now, in this patient, we had a large pigmented lesion around the eye area. We were able to fix this with several sessions, but you can see the drastic improvement, not just in the pigmentation, but also compare these fine lines that have also been significantly improved. Now, in this patient, we have 2 views. This is one cheek with areas of hyperpigmentation, again, in a 4 to 5 Fitzpatrick skin type. 2 treatments with our clear mode significantly has reduced that pigmentation on the one cheek, as well as on the other side. So again, in somebody who may have a higher level Fitzpatrick skin, where before we were extremely limited with our laser options, the UltraClear really comes through to address areas of hyperpigmentation as well as fine lines. Now, like I talked about, the face is what we often present to the world, but think about how many times a day we are beating up our poor hands. You know, if you're somebody that has a longer commute and you have a lot of UV exposure, we're going to want to make sure that these hands are also managed with the UltraClear. So after 3 treatments with our clear, we see significant improvement in these brown spots on the dorsum of the skin on the hand, as well as a huge improvement in overall the texture and the appearance of that hand. With this patient, we used our ultra mode. So this patient's concerns were mostly around her eyes. She really didn't like these fine lines that were appearing here and at the corners. And we can see significant improvement in these lines with just one treatment, but also the lack of redness and the smoothness of the skin after one treatment. Now, we often use lasers for aesthetics and for preventative and for rejuvenative purposes, but a lot of us have scars from various other things. They could be traumatic, they could be surgical in nature if you've had surgery in the past. And what's unique with the UltraClear is that we can also use this on our patients who've undergone surgery, either traumatic or elective. So after using the Ultra on the surgical scar, we can see significant reduction in the redness as well as improvement in texture. In this patient, we did a customized treatment. And again, this is what makes this so unique. We can really tailor the UltraClear to our concerns, where we address both these areas of pigmentation as well as the deeper lines. And you can see the improvement in her skin texture and tone overall. In this gentleman, because gentlemen too can get lasers, we went after these deep wrinkles around the eye, and you can see the significant improvement, not just in the texture of the skin, but also in those particular lines. Now, in this younger patient, they had concerns with their acne scarring, as well as the pigmentation and texture of their skin. This was, again, a customized treatment using the UltraClear at several modalities, and you can see how that has improved significantly. In this patient, they wanted to really focus on these pigmented areas, but they really didn't have significant time to be out of their work and their activities. So again, we did a customized treatment. This is 1 month after one treatment. Redness is completely gone. Fine lines are significantly improved. And this young woman, her biggest concern was this huge pigmented lesion here on her cheek, as well as the multiple other sunspots. One treatment, again, customized to several levels, and that lesion is also improved, as well as the sunspots. Similarly, in this patient, we have a history of acne scarring that had been there for a number of years, as well as sunspots and pigmentation. This was, again, a customized treatment, one single treatment, significant improvement in that scarring, as well as the pigmentation. Lastly, this is one of my favorite UltraClear before and afters. You can see for this young woman who's in her 80s, she had significant lines in the neck, and this is 1 month after 3 treatments with our UltraClear. This is significant improvement, and no, she hasn't had a neck lift. So moving on to our patient here with a type 4 Fitzpatrick, as well as some acne scarring. Again, we customized her treatment, significant improvement in the scarring, as well as in the texture of the skin. For this patient, more than just one treatment was needed to achieve her goals, but I think she also had an excellent result. Her concern was not just the skin spots, but also some of the deep wrinkles. And we can see after 2 treatments, we really have significant improvement in those spots, as well as some of those deeper lines and a much overall rejuvenated look. The UltraClear is also safest for our little ones. So unfortunately, this adorable little kiddo had a run-in with a table and had a significant laceration to his forehead. Laser technology is something we're often, used to with adults, but in children, we have to be extra careful because of how delicate their skin is. In this case, we did 2 treatments with our UltraClear, and you can see the scar is nearly imperceptible. So he'll grow up and hopefully not have any bad memories of that experience. Again, another great result on this young woman with pigmentation and sunspots 5 weeks after one treatment. And again, here we can see the effect on both the neck as well as the lower face. For this gentleman, his main concern was significant acne scarring throughout his teenage years and into his 20s. So you can see kind of the deep areas in the cheeks. So this was addressed with 3 treatments of our UltraClear and really significant improvement in that scarring, as well as the texture and tone of his skin. For this woman as well, again, sunspots, deep lines around the mouth, as well as around the eyes, and we have significant improvement after 3 treatments with our UltraClear. So our last modality is the deepest one, but also what I find to be the most impactful as well, our laser coring technology. So if we see what is unique about the laser coring is it's really reshaping how we think about ablative laser technology in terms of aging. So with this technology, we're able to really customize and pinpoint the areas of ablation as well as the depth of ablation so that we can stimulate a very profound collagen response and a healing response that can help address some of the deepest lines with minimal bleeding and most importantly, with a much easier to take recovery. Now, this, for those of you who are patients, is our beautiful front desk coordinator, Diana. She underwent both coring and the UltraClear. And as you can see, she is just 3 to 4 weeks out, back to herself and looking absolutely beautiful. For this patient who underwent both laser coring as well as the UltraClear, we can see that we've not only addressed the sunspots and the texture that we saw previously, but these deep wrinkles around the mouth and around the eye is addressed with that deep laser coring technology. For this patient whose concern was around her neck, you can see the significant improvement. Now, this doesn't take place of some of the traditional surgical interventions that we talk about, but I think for patients who are perhaps not comfortable undergoing surgery or who are simply not ready for a surgical intervention yet, the laser coring modality can really offer a profound improvement. For this patient as well, again, fine lines, deep lines in the neck in particular. This is 6 weeks after one treatment with laser coring and UltraClear. For this patient in particular, after a lifetime of smoking history, and wonderfully she was able to quit, but she was really disappointed by all of these lines around her mouth. This is 6 weeks after one treatment with laser coring and UltraClear, and you can see the significant improvement and the profound improvement in those lines. Again, for this patient, their neck as well as perioral area was their main concern, and we can see how much significant improvement we have with laser coring. For this patient, her biggest concern was around her eyes in particular. So we can see these lines here in the lower lids. This is 1 month after laser coring and UltraClear. Those lines are next to nothing. And lastly, the case I like to talk about is my own experience with UltraClear. You know, as a surgeon and as a woman myself, I had certain areas that I wanted to address. I've spent over 15 years looking down to operate, and I had significant lines on my neck. So I chose to undergo laser coring for my neck, and I did the Deep Ultra as well as 3D Miracle to my face as well as my chest. So this is about 4 hours after my treatment. I like to say I'm a bit of a post-laser tomato. You can see I turned very, very red. I have some pinpoint bleeding spots, which is kind of typical for me. But 4 hours later, I was comfortable. I'm not horribly swollen, and there is zero filter on this. This is a very, very clear and unfiltered look. Now, the next day, this is me, still pink, recovering, but no significant pain, no significant swelling, and overall very comfortable. And here we have day 2 and day 7. And I like to highlight these for 2 reasons. So by day 2, you can see that not only do I not have any swelling and the redness is significantly improved, but I'm able to do things. By day 7, this was actually the Monday after Thanksgiving, I was back in clinic and back in the operating room looking like myself. I was able to go about my activities. I was able to operate with a mask on. And not in pain, not swollen. Obviously, I still have to protect my skin from the sun, and I'm very, very careful with my SPF as well as UPF clothing, which I recommend to my patients after laser. But the rejuvenation effect is pretty significant. So here's a side view, texture improved in the face as well as my necklines. And to summarize, I did the Ultra and 3D Miracle on my face, laser cored my whole neck. I'm Fitzpatrick 3 to 4. I am Mediterranean in heritage, and full disclosure, I'm 40 years old. So, with that, I will end our before and afters. And I would love to chat with you guys about our special offer for our webinar. So, our attendees who joined us tonight and who book a full face treatment within 10 days will receive a complimentary same day treatment for your choice of your neck, chest, or hands. And our first 5 to book will also receive 25 free units of Botox. So we encourage you to email or text to get these special offers. And thank you so much for joining me tonight. Dr. Terrell and I are thrilled to be part of the Reno community. And our goal is to bring you the most innovative and cutting edge technology to improve any of your concerns.
Great. Thank you so much. And for everybody wondering, I did put the email and phone number in the chat. So please feel free to send us a message or send us an email, and we will get you on the schedule to claim those great promotions. And now we will begin our Q&A session. So if you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the Q&A box now. So we do have one question to start us off. How does this compare to the Halo laser? And if I pick the heavier options, do you numb in the office or do we do that at home? So two questions.
Thank you for that question. So, Halo technology has been around for a number of years. And if you've already used Halo, you know it is a tried and true and a great technology. I find that the UltraClear is the Halo, but more advanced. We can really customize the treatment to multiple areas of concern, and we can address both superficial and deep areas at the same time. So I like to think, the Halo has its use and it's great, but if we're going to attack multiple areas of concern, we can do that better with the UltraClear. We do recommend for the deeper options that we use topical numbing, and we usually have you do that at home about 30 minutes to an hour before you come in, so that you're nice and comfortable for the procedure. For something like the 3D Miracle, you can actually do that without any numbing. I did mine with zero numbing, and it is very, very tolerable, and it's not very painful at all. But I also make sure to note that for my patients, because this is really individual and one-on-one, if there's any concerns about pain or tolerance, we're always willing to make sure that your comfort is our number one priority, and we want you to be comfortable for this.
Great. And we have another one. They may have missed it, but can you do a blend of depths in one treatment?
Absolutely. And I think that's what makes the UltraClear so unique. So, from my personal experience, I wanted to do a much deeper session so that I could really get that collagen stimulation and that rejuvenation. But I also wanted to do the 3D Miracle to address, my end of summer pigmentation and texture. So, I was able to do both in the same session. So I did the deeper Ultra and 3D Miracle to my face, and then the much deeper laser coring and 3D Miracle to my neck. And I was able to address all of that in one session and have one recovery, which was the best.
All right. Next up, somebody said, do I choose the level or is that up to your office?
Well, we always say we have to sit down and chat about what are your goals? What are we looking to address? And then we can really come up with a tailored plan to what's going to suit your skin best and what's going to be the best recovery. Sometimes we only have time for just something short and superficial because we have to get to the next appointment, we have to get to the next event. But other times we have a little bit more time to dedicate to ourselves. So that could be something that's a little bit more deep so that it gives us even more rejuvenation. So an appointment with any of our advanced estheticians or myself or Dr. Terrell, and we can really make something that's custom for each of our patients because we're all different at the end of the day, but we want to make sure that you look your best.
Awesome. All right, we have a couple of questions here regarding cost. So how much do the different options cost, or can you share a little bit about pricing and the different depths?
Sure. So each of the depths are a little bit different. And again, it's based on the type of concerns that we have, as well as our Fitzpatrick skin type. So it's very customizable. The range for these, again, can vary. So I would say the best way to address it is just to have a one-on-one with us, and then we can go over different costs.
Awesome. Okay, so next up, how does the 12 Days of Christmas offer on December 18th compare with what you are offering tonight?
Well, we do have the 3D Miracle as part of our 12 days because we thought what better way to introduce this incredible technology to our patients than to add it to 12 days, which we've had as part of this practice for years. So that one has a special sale for that particular day. And we have a special offer for our attendees tonight because we wanted to make sure that, our patients have the opportunity to choose.
Great. All right, next up is before I book, should I come in for a consultation?
Absolutely. We always say that, the best way to really figure out what's going to be perfect for your skin type as well as your needs is to have a one-on-one discussion with either our estheticians or myself or Dr. Terrell so that we can really take a look and figure out what's the perfect plan for you and for your post-laser needs as well.
Great. All right. So somebody asked, will you be opening up any additional appointment times to accommodate the influx of requests?
Absolutely. Both Dr. Terrell and I have set aside special time for this UltraClear for any patients who are interested in consultation. And we have those times specifically set aside in our schedule. And we're also happy to accommodate our patients, especially if they're interested in times that work best for their schedule as well.
Great. All right, we have time for a few more questions. The next one is for the deeper treatment. How much time do you recommend in between treatments?
So, with the stacking of different levels and some of the deeper treatments, the specific tailored program is really going to determine that. So, for something like a 3D miracle where we're doing a superficial approach, and we want to just do that superficial rejuvenation, you can get that as often as 6 weeks if you're looking to improve that texture and that superficial pigmentation. For some of the deeper treatments like coring or ultra clear, those are more on a several month to an annual basis because we want to obviously let your skin recover and reach that maximal collagen rejuvenation. So it's really dependent on what is going to be that individual treatment for you. That'll dictate how often can we consider doing multiple treatments.
Great. All right, a couple more questions. Um, so one is if there's a history of cold sores, is an antiviral still prescribed?
Absolutely. So anytime we have a history of HSV, we do still prophylax with an antiviral, and that has stayed the gold standard for all laser technology.
Awesome. And okay, one last question. I've had the profractional laser in the past. Is the healing the same or different for the ultra clear depth?
I think it's a little bit different. We still have some downtime and we do still need to recover, but I think it's a much faster overall recovery. Of course, different skin types can react a little bit differently. The ProFrac, for example, we can only use in certain skin types, whereas some of the ultra clear technology is available in more different skin types. But you do have several days of downtime, and we always say you have to protect your skin with SPF as well as UPF protective clothing in the post laser recovery period.
Great. All right, everybody. That was all of the time for questions we had. So we will, just in case you forgot, I did post the information to book in the chat. So make sure you save that. Otherwise, you can go right to our website, and find that information there as well. But thank you, everybody, so much for joining, and we look forward to seeing you in the office very soon.
Thank you so much, everyone. It's been a pleasure, and we hope to see you in the office.
Thanks.